All right, let's dive into a really fascinating paradox that's sitting right at the heart of the AI revolution. You see, everyone, and I mean everyone, assumes that AI is just getting cheaper and cheaper by the day. But for the companies actually building stuff with it, the reality is, well, it's way more complicated and honestly a lot more expensive than you'd think. And look, this is the promise, right? It's what you hear everywhere. Every big AI lab is slashing prices, and the story goes that intelligence is on this unstoppable march to becoming a cheap, abundant utility, kind of like electricity or cloud computing. But here's the thing. What if that story, while, technically true on the surface, is also dangerously misleading? What if the effective cost, the price to actually deliver a powerful, useful AI result, is actually going up? So this counter-narrative, it isn't coming from analysts watching from the sidelines. It's coming from operators, people in the trenches, like Ethan Ding, the CEO of TextQL. He's looking at a real profit and loss statement, where AI costs are this huge, scary, variable line item. And he's given this problem a name, the AI short squeeze. A short squeeze? It's such a brilliant metaphor for what's happening. Think about it. When a company offers an all-you-can-eat subscription for a flat fee, they're making a bet. They're essentially shorting their biggest cost, AI compute, betting that it's going to fall. But when the actual cost to solve a user's complex problem goes up instead, they get completely squeezed between their fixed revenue and these exploding expenses. It's a disaster for their profit margins. And this really gets to the heart of the conflict. You've got the investor narrative on one side saying, hey, AI is cheap, it's a commodity. And then you have the operator's reality on the other, saying, whoa, hold on. To deliver state-of-the-art results, this is a high, super variable, and often rising cost. Okay, so why? Why is this happening? If the cost per token is falling, how can the real effective cost be rising? Well, it turns out there are two powerful kind of hidden forces at play here. Let's break them down. The first driver is actually pretty simple. Everybody wants the best. This creates something called the frontier model premium. Just think about it. If you're trying to build a product that feels like magic, you can't just use some cheap, old, clunky model. Your users would get frustrated and leave. You need the best, the state-of-the-art models like GPT-4o. But the price for these top-tier, frontier models stays stubbornly high. So companies are basically locked in. They have to pay that premium just to stay in the game. Now, the second driver, this one's even more powerful. This is where the costs really multiply. It's a concept called inference scaling. Okay. Let's picture a super simple AI interaction. You ask a basic question like, what's the capital of France? The AI gives you a direct answer. This costs, I don't know, fractions of a penny. Super cheap. But now look at a complex agentic task, the kind of stuff we're all excited about. A single user prompt, something like analyze our quarterly sales data and draft an email to the top performing reps. Well, that doesn't trigger one AI call. It triggers a whole cascade of them. The AI has to make a plan, then query a database, analyze the results, synthesize its findings, draft an email, refine the draft. Each one of those steps is an API call, and each call burns through thousands of tokens. Your costs just exploded from pennies to potentially dollars, all from a single user request. So this table really just sums it all up, doesn't it? The conventional view is obsessed with cost per token, but the operator's view, Ding's thesis, says the only metric that really matters is the total cost per task. And that cost, which is driven by complexity, isn't necessarily going down. In many cases, it's actually going up. So what's the fallout here? How does this economic pressure actually break a business model? Well, it creates a really dangerous trap, especially for any company that's still clinging to that simple, flat-rate subscription model. And this is where things get completely upside down. It flips like 100 years of business logic on its head. In traditional software, your best customer, your power user, is your most profitable asset. But in the world of cutting-edge AI, that same power user, the one using all your coolest, most complex features, could be costing you more in compute fees than their entire subscription is worth. They literally become your biggest financial liability. It's crazy. So you have to ask, right? Who's most at risk here? Because not all AI companies are going to feel this pain equally. The companies that are at the highest risk are the ones doing the most complex, multi-step work, We're talking advanced data analytics platforms, AI coding assistants that are rewriting huge chunks of code, research tools that are synthesizing dozens of documents at once, and, oh yeah, the big one, AI video generation. The compute costs there are just on a whole other planet. Okay, so this all sounds pretty grim, I know, but it's not hopeless. This is really just a wake-up call for the industry to grow up a little bit. So what is the path forward? How do you navigate this new, tricky economic reality? Well, first things first, you've got to get creative with pricing. The simple all-you-can-eat buffet is closed. It's just broken. This means you have to explore things like hybrid models, a base fee plus tiers for heavy usage, or credit systems that actually show users the cost of their actions, or maybe even tying the price directly to the value you're creating for them. And second, you've got to get a whole lot smarter on the tech and operations side. This means building intelligent routers that send simple questions to cheap models and only use the expensive ones when you need to. It means caching results so you're not paying to compute the same answer over and over. And it means training your own, smaller, specialized models for repetitive tasks. Managing costs has to become a core skill. And you know what? Investors need to get with the program too. The old rulebook is out. They have to look past the shiny top-line numbers and ask the really hard questions, like, are you actually making money on your heaviest users? Are your compute costs growing faster than your revenue? They need to start demanding new metrics like cost per meaningful output to figure out if a business is actually healthy or just burning cash. So ultimately, all of this is probably going to lead to the market splitting right in two. You'll have this commodity layer for simple stuff, summarizing text, basic chatbots, where it's all about price and the profit margins are razor thin. And then you'll have a premium layer for solving complex, high-stakes problems where pricing is based on value and having deep expertise is what really matters. The big takeaway here is really simple. The honeymoon period for AI economics, it's over. The hype is finally giving way to the cold, hard reality of unit economics. Building a great AI company isn't just about having cool tech anymore. It's about building a sustainable, profitable system to deliver it. Which leaves us with one final, pretty stark question. This AI short squeeze isn't a future problem. It's here now. It's going to be a painful but probably necessary correction for the market. The real question for the entire industry is which companies are going to be smart enough to adapt and which ones are about to get squeezed into oblivion.